KISS. Yes.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. Whether you're going to watch this show on YouTube or wherever you're going to download your podcast, the show is free. I appreciate your support. You can show your appreciation. If you're watching on YouTube, become a subscriber. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. Click the red subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and do not forget to hit that bell notification. That way you won't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions are going to apply. Yes, I admit it. It's true. I'm an official member of the KISS Army. Huge Gene Simmons fan back in the day. But that's not the KISS I'm referring to. I'm referring to the acronym KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. The only thing I think more frustrating than watching USC's defense go through the motions every week when they play was listening to Alex Grinch explain why the defensive effort was always close, but not close enough. And then I heard Coach Shaun Nua, interim defensive coordinator, half of the interim defensive coordinator tandem, he and Brian Odom. Coach Nua said he had the statement the other day after practice. One of the keys for the defense going into the Oregon game, according to Coach Nua, was we wanted to minimize and clarify the jobs for the USC defenders. In other words, keep it simple, stupid. That's what we did. He said being more physical was a good first step forward. So I think everyone would agree that's probably what we saw. I agree. That's what, I would concur with Coach Nua, that they took the first step. They were more physical up front. He went on to say, the one thing is we got to keep getting them to play hard and play violent football. Now, that last part really got my attention. Anybody who knows me, who has heard me talk about USC football over the last couple of years, you know that defensive line coach, former USC defensive line coach, Vic So'oto, he was one of my favorite Clay Helton assistant coaches. The way that guy used to, if you've ever seen him talk, he's got that, the Joker from your comic book days. Yeah, he has that psychotic Joker face smile, and when he said the word violence, just the way he said it, I like my guys to play violent, and he had that big smile. It was intimidating, and it was just. It's what you want to hear from a defensive guy. It was just the way he said it. I was endeared to the way he talked about it. Didn't like to see him go. Against Oregon, USC's violent front four, I thought they were more physical. They kept the Ducks well below their rushing numbers for the season. They were averaging 200 yards per game. And, my everyday listeners will, they'll check their receipts right now and they'll say, hey, you know what? Mark talked about that. I did. The Ducks came into that game against USC averaging 200 yards on the ground. Well, they had to earn every single inch of their 140 yards that they gained running the ball on 31 carries. So if you're looking across the board, everyone's going to say, yeah, Oregon's offense is better than UCLA's offense this year. No, the Bruins are the number 14 team in the nation running the ball, and they're the 63rd best team passing. If USC can stop the Bruins' run game, I have to hope that new simplified USC defense is going to find its way into the secondary And those assignments will start showing their improvement this week, right? USC's pass defense throughout the year has made everyone look good. Doesn't matter if you knew who the quarterback's name was or not. You could be Francisco Mendoza. You could be a pig farmer from Utah. Eventually, if you get to play against USC's defense, you're going to look good this year, up until this game, right? Will they finally be able to, kind of put it together against the Bruins? Everyone kind of surged together, as Lincoln Riley said. Offense, defense, special teams. Let's hope everybody on the defense surges together. The run game, the passing defense, all that comes together in one game. Last regular season. I mean, don't allow pass completions of 63 yards, 77 yards, 84 yards, like they did against Oregon. If USC's pass defense can improve on those numbers, we'll probably have a better game. Coach Nua, he was full of quotes. He said, it's the same story. The big plays are killing us. We've got to find a way not only to just minimize, but eliminate them. So again, get rid of those big plays, the 63, the 77, the 84-yard pass completion plays. He said the path forward there is that if it's not clear, we're going to keep minimizing it until they get it. So I don't know if they're at the point yet where Coach Nua and Coach Odom and Taylor Mays and Dante Williams and Roy Manning, I don't know if they're using crayons yet to make it look simple. Hopefully they're not. I've already gone on record. I said that I believe USC is going to win this game against UCLA by at least 2 touchdowns. They were 6.5-point favorites when the line came out. USC's offense is going to get their points, right? They might not get 45 or whatever their actual number is, but I think they're going to get 30 plus. And I'm saying they won't get, if they don't get the 45, it's because you got to give credit to UCLA's defense. They've really improved this year. Again, statistically, they look great. And USC's offensive line, they're going to need to play one of their better games against the UCLA defense. But again, I don't think the Bruins are going to be able to hold USC below 30 points, especially at home. So here's another reason why I think USC will win the game, and why the USC defense will have a better game week 2 compared to what happened up in Oregon. Even though USC's sack numbers have kind of disappeared since the Arizona game, I believe they're credited with just 2 sacks since they played Arizona. I think they're going to have a better day on Saturday because UCLA, everybody complains about the USC offensive line. Well, UCLA is giving up 3 sacks per game. They're ranked 118th in the nation. So let's start throwing a little shade over to the west side of town right now. I really believe that USC's new violent and simplified defensive line assignments, not only are they going to stop the run, I also think they're going to be able to create enough chaos and get enough pressure on whomever's playing quarterback for UCLA this weekend. But that's going to help out the DBs. I think that everything's going to come together this week. Again, they're simplifying it. They're keeping it simple for the stupid people like me, for the guys who are trying to figure out what the heck Alex Grinch was trying to teach these guys. So simplification, minimize big plays, take advantage of UCLA's weakness. They give up the sack, and just play violent up front. That's what you want from your defense, right? Violence. And don't make it difficult. Keep it simple for them. These days, every potential new hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. And you want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster, and they're going to do it for free. If you've ever used LinkedIn Job to find a job, you know how easy it is to use. Well, it's also just as easy to create a free job post. Once you've added your job listing, take that purple hashtag hiring frame, attach it to your own LinkedIn profile, and that's going to spread the word that you're hiring. And LinkedIn provides you great simple tools like screening questions. And that makes it easy for you to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. Recruiting the right person for your team means a better product. That's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus the leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions will apply. It's now time for your Game Changer of the Week, brought to you by Athletic Brewing Company. I want to talk about wide receiver Taj Washington. He is probably USC's most unassuming big play guy on the team. The same way Athletic Brewing has completely changed the non-alcoholic beer game, Taj Washington has changed the way smaller wide receivers play the game. Size doesn't matter to this dude. Washington is always making the big catch. He's either flying down the sideline on a fly route, making a big diving catch, or he will sacrifice his body going over the middle of the field. And because Athletic Brewing's brews are non-alcoholic, you can enjoy more of them too. Just like Taj Washington led the team with 82 yards receiving last week, you can enjoy more non-alcoholic brews from Athletic Brewing. Before, during, or after the game, Athletic Brewing makes non-alcoholic brews that actually taste good. You can find Athletic Brewing Company's non-alcoholic brews at a store near you, or you can buy them online at athleticbrewing.com. First-time customers, use code LOCKEDON, and you're going to get 15% off your first online order. That's code LOCKEDON at checkout for 15% off at athleticbrewing.com. Near beer, exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. Locked On has launched their first ever national sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with local experts on Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the very first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, second segment here. No more Alex Grinch. And that also means USC's highest rated defensive lineman, rush edge, Cameron Fountain, is now decommitted. That's right. We're going to talk a little bit recruiting, a little NIL here in this segment. I doubt that Alex Grinch's firing had a lot to do with it. He was his main recruiter. Shaun Nua was his other recruiter. However, he's listed as an edge player coming into USC. So maybe, I don't know, I'm not saying anything definitively, but maybe Cameron is saying this is maybe an indicator that maybe Roy Manning's tenure isn't long for USC. And I'm saying this because it's not like the rush ends haven't performed well this year. They have played 100 times better than they did in 2022 this season. And let's not knock, Coach Manning's recruiting. It seems to be top shelf. Cameron Fountain, Elijah Newby. Some good guys are coming in. But again, with the defensive coordinator job kind of up for grabs, I mean, who knows if any of these commits are going to fit the new guy's philosophy. Maybe Shaun Nua keeps the job. Maybe Cameron recommits. Who knows? This is what needs to happen, though. USC needs to make a splash hire, and they need to generate some interest from the defensive recruits out there yesterday. Post haste. Do it now. I know Lincoln Riley's got this game to focus on. Then you got the bye week, and you got bowl week prep. I would imagine that USC is not going to take too much time. They got to do their due diligence, but I wouldn't spend too much time. Make this happen. Otherwise, talked about it on yesterday's episode. Actually earlier in the week, was 2023 a waste? You can't wait too long on it. This is a really important time in the USC football program. They need to nail this defensive coordinator thing so it can help out recruiting. Now, until a new defensive coordinator is named, I think everybody should probably anticipate more commits sitting on the fence. I'll put it that way. I don't want to say decommit, but you probably will see another one or two. That's just how it's going to be. That's why I'm saying you got to get that defensive coordinator hired. Start generating some momentum, some enthusiasm. So we know that recruiting right now is kind of stuck in a quagmire. Grinch was one of the main reasons. Name, image, likeness being the other. We're going to talk a little bit about that right now. You want to help out? Well, now you can. You always could, but now you can actually do it and feel comfortable about it and know exactly where your donation is going. You don't have to be that rich donor to help out. Okay. You don't have to be the Wayne Hughes family, to donate millions, hundreds of millions to USC. You can just be an everyday regular person. Well, I can't donate, but you can. So if you've been one of those loud, really outspoken critics of USC's NIL programs and collectives, well, guess what? Now is your time to be a part of the solution. Yep. USC's main collective, House of Victory, they've started a new fundraiser, and it's designed for you. It's called the 50 for Victory. This is how they're marketing it. USC leads the Crosstown Showdown with 50 wins. As we fight to keep the Victory Bell painted cardinal this Saturday, House of Victory is calling on the Trojan family to make a minimum pledge of $50 to support USC's football NIL program. Funds raised through this 50 for Victory campaign are earmarked to support USC football student athletes. Pledge a minimum of $50 today, and please share with your friends in the Trojan family. Help us get 5,000 Trojans to reach our $250,000 goal before we ring the Victory Bell. It takes all of us. So you've got till the end of the game Saturday to make this happen. It'll continue afterwards, but they want to make this happen before the end of the game. So get on board, right? Stop complaining that USC's not doing all they can in NIL. Now's your opportunity to help out. Put your money where you like to be outspoken. Hey, look, it's a start, right? It's a grassroots type of stuff that they're doing. But again, you now have the chance to say that you helped out. You can show your receipt. And I've actually seen some of these receipts. There's some funny ones out there. If I donate, will you hire so-and-so? Some good stuff out there. Look, the big money donors, they're still going to do all the heavy lifting. So, as far as the Kennedys out there who own all those billboard companies, the billboards you see driving by on the freeway, they're still out there. You still have, I'm not going to name them all. There's a lot of big time rich donors out there. And they'll still do all the heavy lifting. But again, USC is so far behind in the NIL game that they had to do something just to get more people involved. And really, USC has no one else to blame but themselves. It kind of started back when they had that "who cares about the $100 donor" comment that past people in USC's administration had made. Moving forward, though, you can see they're taking a different approach now. And not only that, did they have that whole cavalier, well, I don't care about you, only give $100 attitude. But they were literally pushing away the deep pocket donors who just wanted action. They just wanted to see USC, the people in charge of USC football, do something. But they were kind of, all those rich, the big heavy lifting people, they were kind of told, hey, and they weren't told to shut up and donate, but that was the attitude. Just, hey, we'll take care of everything. We hear you, but write the check. USC was self-inflicting itself with wounds. Literally, they had no one to blame but themselves. They couldn't get out of their own way, which is really ironic considering, USC has one of the best business schools in the world, let alone the country. The Marshall School of Business, they put out some of the top leaders of industry come from USC. So again, why USC is always behind everybody in these types of things? It's baffling. It really is. But I think it's starting to change with how they're doing things going forward. And again, you can be a part of it at the grassroots level. Send in your $50 donation or more. I know one person said, hey, we need to pick it up. There was a $40,000 donation in there. And someone said, hey, everybody who donates today, they were going to match every donation. So those types of things, they kind of snowball. Will USC all of a sudden be handing out bags of cash to high school recruits? Probably not. But again, I think it's going to start changing how they do things going forward. And again, they just said in their marketing statement, this is specifically for the football program. PrizePicks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They're also the easiest and the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. And instead of battling against thousands of other players, including those pros and the sharks, you're going to pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and just watch the money roll into your bank account. And now, with basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League. It's a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, Anthony Davis, Laker, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are going to have it. You can bet on them at a 15.5 combo of rebounds and receptions. So Anthony Davis, Lakers, Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, combo 15.5. PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege and use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a mini practice report here on this episode before we get out. I think everybody should know it's expected to rain in LA on Saturday. 12:30 kickoff. It's like an 80% chance. Well, it was raining during practice on Wednesday. So it was a wet one. And I think the team should be prepared for Saturday for any type of wet condition. Even during the interviews, rain was coming down. Players and coaches were talking. Caleb Williams, ready for this? Said he hasn't made a decision regarding playing in the bowl game yet. He kind of threw it out there that, if he decides to stay at USC for another year, he doesn't see why he wouldn't play in a bowl game. But I'm here to tell you, don't get your hopes too high, USC fans. He's going to talk everything over with his family and, his confidants, people who are helping him, direct his professional career. But if he's going to be the number 1 overall draft pick, you go to the NFL. And I understand. I've made the argument, said he could come back and make just as much money in NIL in 1 year at USC. But you don't risk your entire career with an unknown. And right now, USC's football program is kind of teetering on the unknown. It's probably going to go in the right direction, but they're still in that transition mode. And Caleb won the Heisman, and his second year at USC really didn't turn out the way everybody anticipated. And it had very, 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 very little to do with him. How's that for emphasis? 4 varies. Shane Lee also talked after practice, and he was talking about, one of the things he brought up was how USC was successful in limiting the big runs from Oregon. And basically it said it came down to just a couple of minor tweaks, schematic adjustments. And he then kind of talked about how much freer and looser the guys felt out there running around. So the implication, things were obviously simplified. And I just got the impression guys were just saying, hey, go run to the football. You know what? You know where your gaps are, but you don't have to go to a specific one. Find the gap, get to the ball. That's what I took away from it. So again, he mentioned that. But again, you could just tell that they're just running more base type of stuff. And that's going to help minimize, maybe even eliminate those explosive run plays that we've all watched them go through all season long. Yeah. So another player, keep an eye on this guy. I'm not saying he's going to make the switch full time, but Mekhi Lemon, that dude is cooler than the other side of the pillow. He spoke to the media after practice. Again, wet day, and he just likes to get out on the field. He is a baller. He's a dog, right? I'm not sure what his future holds, whether it's going to be at wide receiver or at cornerback, but he's going to be good wherever he lines up. He's just a football player. Out of high school, one of his former coaches even said he thought he'd be a better DB. He's not surprised that he's playing on the defensive side of the ball right now. And again, it's mostly out of necessity. Still, he's got the game to stay there and be really good at it. He plays the game. When I watched him play wide receiver at Los Alamitos, he reminded me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's just got that personality. You know what? Try and tackle him. Good luck. So I think you can understand the defensive comparison due to the personality and the aggressiveness. That's where I see it. So again, it was raining on Wednesday's practice. Anticipated 80% rain on Saturday, 12:30 p.m. kickoff. Bring your rain gear. Have some fun. Last game of the year, regular season game of the year. Probably Caleb Williams' last time wearing a Trojan uniform. Get out there, even in the rain. Support the team. So this, that might be the last home game of the year for USC. This is not the last episode of the week for Locked On USC. I'll be back tomorrow on my Friday rant, plus some other stuff. But also, don't forget, Locked On has launched its first ever 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Check that out. Locked On Sports Today, 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with your local experts. You got to go check it out on YouTube. So, until this next episode of Locked On USC, which will be tomorrow, when you're done watching the show, head on over to wearesc.com. We got some good written content. You might even get some nuggets there that I can't talk about just yet, but you should head on over there. Take advantage of any VIP subscription we've got going. But make sure you come here every day for Locked On USC. Make your first listen, and I'll be here for you. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.